So for a class assignment, this is actually the same class assignment that I was doing the broadcasting for,
Mm-hmm.
but we had to look up like some sad news and then some happy news. And like the happy story that I chose was the Chicago woman. She went skydiving at 104 years old, which
My
breaks the
goodness.
world record for that, right?
Of course.
But I didn't really like what she said when she like when she landed at the bottom. You want to know what she said?
What'd she say?
Her grand accomplishment claim. She said age is just a number, which I can agree with to a certain extent, but like for being old, you can accomplish a lot of things. I don't like it when pedophiles say it though.
I,
You know what I mean?
Jeremy, I knew where you were going with that, my friend. Yeah, it's like age is just a number. Unless that age is under 18, then you should really start questioning yourself.
Yeah, and like that's like the grand thing that she said. So I have to put it into the news story, and I'm like, I feel kind of gross having to say it,
Mm-hmm.
but I know what she's trying to say, um, but boy oh boy, I feel like it could definitely have been worded better.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Maybe not worded at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I just got some water.
It's okay.
Gotta stay hydrated for this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's roll that intro.
Natty Wonders, featuring Jeremy and Bryant.
Listen, the man in the cave doesn't care who you look like. He's gonna kill you anyway.
I learned that I need to eat cats and infants, apparently.
Two of the best therapy sessions. You got D&D and Heavy Circles. Welcome back, everyone, to Natty Wonders. This is episode 21. Hope you guys are ready for this. This is going to be an excellent episode because, well, we have something great planned. Brian, what do we have planned for today?
Well, today we're going to be going through a bunch of hobbies and ranking how niche and nerdy they are. So we're basically going to be calling all of you guys out and ourselves, and we're going to have a little fun along the way. Maybe you can find a new hobby, too, that you haven't heard of before.
Heck yeah, this is going to be, like you said, it's going to be a great list that we're putting together. So if you're looking for a new nerdy hobby to make some friends, yeah, stick around. I mean, we're going to be telling you which ones are like the sweatiest hobbies, which ones you should consider, and which ones I'm also going to be considering as well, joining.
Mhm.
Are you ready for this? But okay, first off, before we get into that, do you want to start off with some Gym Talk slander? Because I'm really, really excited for this Gym Talk slander.
Let's do it. I've seen the little clips at the beginning, and I am ready to just toast on some of these guys. Gym Talk slander.
I am so excited. Okay, so first off, we have someone that actually I don't want to say slandered on the show before, because we don't actually slander anyone. We just give our opinions on what they say. Especially in fitness related stuff. But first off, we have this guy that loves making hot takes, and these hot takes are actually terrible. Or he's trying to give advice, but they're actually just terrible advice. Now I don't want to mention the handle or anything, but you could probably figure out who this is. I want to give credit where credit's due, but at the same time, if we're like making fun of someone, I don't really want to like blast them on the internet. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
We're gonna be poking a little bit of fun at this, but
Yeah, yeah.
again, he has quite a bit of followers, so I think he'll be just fine. Are you ready for it?
I am, yeah. Let's listen.
Calluses are good. For my days without gloves, my hands started to become hard, but if you want rubber hands, then be my guest. It may not be instant, but the roughness and
jeez.
pressure from lifting
Oh,
can cause
come on.
significant damage to your hands. This can lead to soreness, blisters, and even tearing of the
Significant
skin. Of course, the
damage.
extra grip it gives you is nice, but just to prevent damage and maintain smooth and healthy hands, just
What
go
the
get
heck?
yourself a nice pair of gloves.
Huh.
Absolutely not. Hang on, pause it right there.
Yeah.
What the crap?
No, no thanks. I don't think I
First
will.
off, first off, the way he was. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm not someone that likes to. I don't make fun of people's forms. Like if your form is pretty bad at the gym and whatnot, it's like okay, whatever. Or like maybe I'll help you out. Um, if it looks like you're pretty new to the gym. Um, but boy oh boy, this guy's form is very physics based, very momentum miss
Uh-huh.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, okay,
So
wait.
that
I just saw that one where he's on the the lat pull down machine and he's doing like what was that, like a forward crunch or something? Like
I have
what
no
was that?
idea.
And he only had like one, like he only had 10 pounds on. That's all he had was in doing a forward. Like what is that?
Maybe it's just it being sped up, but oh boy. Okay, anyway, past that. What's wrong with this video? I guess he's not wrong. Okay, if you want your smooth rubbery hands, then that's cool. But think I don't think the barbells and stuff have actually destroyed my hands. I don't think these calluses are actually like causing me any harm. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. There's no like there's nothing bad about having a callus on your hand. Like your hands are intended to callus. That's why it does it instead of just
Yeah.
completely damaging it permanently. You know, it's supposed to callus. It's supposed to do that as you get older and as you like doing things that require it. And it's just helpful for life in general too. Like are you going to be wearing gloves all the time? I mean, I guess if you are, that's fine. But you know, if you have to like go out and use a shovel or something and you don't have calluses, you're going to get blisters regardless even if you wear gloves. So it's like I don't
Yeah.
know. I'd rather it makes more sense to me to just get the calluses and then you have them and your hands are stronger for like anything else that you need to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, so first off, the comment section is pretty mean. I'm not gonna read any of these, but
Oh yeah, oh my gosh.
um
Yeah, I just I just saw all of these.
they are holy cow, Instagram users need to chill sometimes, I swear. But I this doesn't cause permanent damage. Yeah, like you said, it doesn't cause permanent damage. It's fine that your hands callous. Like they're supposed to do that, I feel like. Especially if like you're doing physical labor. Like he even said, it helps with the grip, especially. Um, and yeah, this isn't gonna cause permanent damage to your hands. Like, anyway, I don't know. That just kind of made me pretty mad. We talked about when we last reviewed this guy's video, we talked about like this guy looks like he would, I just realized this guy looks like he would recommend lifting gloves, and we were right.
Yeah, yep.
We were 100%
We
right.
were
Remember, guys,
but
eat your
he wasn't using them in the last video.
No, he wasn't. But oh wait, hypocrite maybe?
Hypocrite much?
But anyway, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
anyway.
But
Personal attacks
see,
aside.
personal biases aside, eat your lifting gloves. It's great protein and whatnot. Great leathery protein. Um, yeah, the and when you hear stuff like that, maybe consider why are you listening to this? I'm gonna be honest. Anyway, calluses are not bad for you. Actually, you should be developing them, but whatever. Anyway, we're gonna go on to the next one. This is by That Jim Humor. Usually this is I don't want to say it's a freebooting account, but it's like a meme account that usually has other people's posts, but they credit them most of the time.
Mhm.
But do you want to read the caption for this one? This is not a
Yeah.
video. This is just
No,
a
this
photo.
one's pretty simple, and I'm sure you've seen it online somewhere, but it's just funny.
Oh
It
yeah.
says, when you walk in on the local high schoolers deadlifting, and it's like a dog taking a crap, but they've like edited like,
It's like squatting and
yeah,
whatnot.
it's squatting, and so it's edited like a barbell, like he's deadlifting or something. He's got like a pompadour, like a stupid haircut, so like a super big earring, a camera in the background, like taking a video of him with some
C4
C4
pre-workout.
pre-workout, yeah, and like just a cat, like a quotation that says "All you, bro," but he's like obviously got horrible form because he's a dog. He's not supposed to be deadlifting.
Yeah. My man's back is curved more
His back is literally
than
just
the
straight. Like it's just parallel with the ground.
no, not his lower
Oh,
back.
that's true. That's true. So that, oh my, I can't even imagine like what that would look like on a person. Like
Yeah, maybe because
how
it's a dog.
well, I know obviously.
I'm kidding too, but yeah, deadlifting 135 with terrible posture. High schoolers, please do better. Although, actually, maybe this isn't completely false because um, I don't want to say deadlift with bad posture, but doing stuff like Zercher deadlifts or or when you're standing on a plate and you do oh my gosh, what do you call it? This oh, help me out, Bryant. My brain's
Uh,
crapping out.
Mine is too.
I lost I lost too many brain cells at the gym today, man. Whatever the decline, I want to say, I think that's what it is. But pretty much like using more of your lower back is actually pretty good. It's at least for strengthening it. Especially UFC fighters are going to be using this a lot because they literally have to pick up people in awkward positions. Like they don't have time when they're in a fight to get their form proper, make sure their back is straight, and then lift. I mean, no, they have to go pure lower back strength. So maybe consider doing lower back exercises. All right, and now here's the last one. This one only has music, and it's the Napoleon meme. Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
I before we get started, it just says this is someone's mom, right? And it says I read about creatine online. It's really bad for your kidneys. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Are you taking it? And then it says me 5 minutes in the bathroom, and it's Napoleon with Tren. So
Also, gotta say that
yeah,
song is
don't
fire, but
yeah. I might not like the French, but that's a pretty good song.
bro, he's got some nice trend going on there. Creatine, bad for your kidneys, doing trend.
Bad for everything. Okay, speaking of which, I have a hot take actually. Speaking of Napoleon, I don't think there's ever been a greater French person than Napoleon.
Greater in what way?
Like since Napoleon, I don't think there's ever been someone that has been
I
a
see.
better French person than Napoleon.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, he's left an indelible mark on society. That's true.
Maybe for worse or for better. Like, of course, he's not perfect. I'm not saying he is, but
Yeah,
no one has done anything ballsy in French since Napoleon. So boom,
true.
I said it.
Yeah, during World War II, half
I
the
got
French
that's
surrendered and fought against the rest of the French. So that was kind of hype.
yeah, kind of high. Anyway, history nerds out of the way. Let's go on to the actual meat of this episode. The freaking niche tier list, niche nerd tier list, nerdy niche tier list. Are
Hype.
you ready
Let's
for
do it.
this?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right. How many of these do you know? Like we have a pretty good list here about like 10 to 12. Like how many would you say you know? Or like how
Um,
many are you not too familiar with?
I'd say I'm familiar with most of them. There's like probably three or four on here that I don't know about. But I'm assuming you will clue me in.
Exactly. So the way we're going to be ranking these, we're going to be ranking this on how expensive it is to get into this hobby, how sweaty this hobby is. Sweaty as in like how die hard and uh y- sweaty. How sweaty this is. And how mainstream or niche this topic is. So, right, so like 10 would be like, oh, this is super niche. Um and then like one is like, okay, this is mainstream as heck. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So let's start off with Warhammer 40K. Um, this is actually something that I have been wanting to get into. I actually have a friend that invited me to play Warhammer. He's got like 4 armies,
Sheesh.
and he invited me to play one round. So I'm like, all right, I'd love to. I do know a lot of the lore of Warhammer. You know, I know a lot of like the background behind the armies and like the jokes and like memes and whatnot. Um, and it's honestly a really cool universe. What do you know about Warhammer?
I know because it's a tabletop, right?
Yep.
Similar to, well, kind of similar to D&D, except like sci-fi.
It's a war game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a war game, purely war gamey.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen like my roommates watch the cinematics on like the TV sometimes.
Dude,
And so like they're
the
really
cinematics
hype.
are so sick.
They're so cool. But other than
Yeah,
that, I don't know a
Astartes,
ton about
so
it.
cool. Yeah, so pretty much all you gotta know for this is that it's a super grim, dark world where I've heard it described like this. You've got like humanity, which are all pretty much like Nazis that are like killing all aliens, fighting against Cthulhu, who wants to destroy everything. So it's like, all right, everyone's terrible in this world, but like that's kind of the joy of it, where it's like, oh, I want to play an evil army or whatever. And, you know, that's pretty cool. It's pretty much just all space war, so it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Um, lots of overpowered things in Warhammer that are just like, oh my goodness. But like that's the joy of it, where it's like, if everything's overpowered, nothing's overpowered kind of mentality.
Hmm.
Um, I'd say this is pretty sweaty, you know, pretty niche, also very expensive. Because you need like mini figures for your armies and
Hmm.
whatnot. And like some armies require more mini figures than others. So I honestly, where would you scale this just by the limited knowledge that you know?
Yeah, to be fair, I don't know a ton. But I'd say, so we're talking about expensiveness. It seems like it's going to be pretty expensive, more so than D&D and stuff, because you can just like, I guess you could also just kind of wing it with Warhammer, but it would probably make the game a lot harder to play. D&D, if you're just like drawing on a piece of paper, like that works. So I'd say Warhammer's. I don't know. I'm not gonna give it a 1 out of 10 on that. I'll let you do that. But for nicheness, I'd say it's probably up there. You know, it's probably
Oh yeah.
like an 8. What do you think?
Oh yeah. I'd say for nicheness, for niche level, I'd say it's pretty high up there, like 8, 9, or 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'll stick with 8. It's definitely not mainstream. I feel like, although those cinematics, that fan made Astartes
Mm-hmm.
shorts, those have gone pretty viral, and it's like made a lot of people get their interest peaked in that.
Yeah, it's
But
so
honestly,
good.
yeah, I'd say Warhammer is pretty niche still. So we'll put that at a solid 8. And then sweatiness, pretty sweaty. So
Yeah.
8 all around.
Yeah.
Next up, do you want to introduce this next
Oh,
one?
yes, I do. We got Pokemon. I would consider myself a
Pokemon.
little bit of a resident expert on Pokemon. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Name all 3,000
Oh,
then.
I could get pretty close, honestly.
Oh no.
Yeah. Um, but anyway, yeah. So, Pokemon is just like, if you don't know about it, I don't know where you've been. Like, where you've been? You've been under a rock or something. Everyone knows
Pretty
like
mainstream.
Pikachu. Like, it's really mainstream. I'd say
Yeah.
it's probably like a 2, maybe a
2 for
3.
mainstream.
Yeah, on the niche
Yeah.
scale. So it's like between
Eh,
2 and 3. But like
I
everyone's heard of it.
yeah. I would then also kind of bump it up a little bit just because the Pokemon trading card game, because like some of those like people that build decks and like battle each other, it's actually pretty fun. It's a cheaper version of Magic the Gathering, which is up next. but it's a cheaper version of Magic the Gathering, and it's it's mainstream. A lot of people can get into it, so I'd say, yeah, I'd probably say it's like either a 2 to 3 on
Yeah.
like the niche nerdy scale.
I would honestly differentiate like Pokemon games between Pokemon like the card game because like video
Hmm.
games, the video games I'd say are like a solid two. Like anyone can
Yeah,
get into those, but I think the card game's more of a four, just because it's like I don't know, it's a step more towards the nerdy side. You know,
I'd agree.
you have to go and purchase these cards if you're building a deck. You know, you spend like 30, $40 on a good deck. You could spend a lot more, but that's a pretty solid deck. But the games, you know, they're just fun. Anyone can play them. Like no one's gonna really bat an eye. Maybe for like a 40-year-old man playing it, then yeah, that'd be kind of weird. But I don't know. Most people would
Yeah,
be just okay with it. So it'd be like a two, I'd say.
yeah.
Expensiveness,
I
yeah,
It's super cheap
super
stuff.
cheap.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I would
these are
definitely,
Pokemon cards.
yeah, I definitely recommend it for anyone that like wants to get into play. If you're in it for like, I don't know, collectors stuff, then yeah, you'll collect, but don't think you're gonna like for any of these card games like that have collectibleness. Don't like think you're getting into it to make money because that's not the case.
Yep, you're definitely not gonna pull that rare Charizard. I'm sorry, I had to tell you that.
Yeah. Okay.
But next up, we got Magic the Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Holy cow, Magic is pretty nerdy, I'd say.
Yeah.
Not pretty niche as well. Um, and it's actually really funny because there was a post on Reddit that was a Magic user trying to get into Pokemon, the card game, and he was asking like, okay, well, like what? How much can $100 get me for Pokemon cards? And everyone in the subreddit was like, "Are you kidding me, dude? You can like buy 3 decks with that much money, maybe even more." But
Mm.
like with Magic the Gathering, $100 will get you just 1 deck.
Yeah, and like that deck won't even be super duper good.
Yeah, it's like congratulations, you bought a Goblin deck, and now you're getting destroyed. But I'd say this one's pretty niche. I don't think it's as niche as Warhammer
No.
40K.
Yeah, I'd put
Definitely
it like
not.
a 6 or a 7.
I honestly, I'm probably willing to bump Warhammer up to a 9
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right.
so that Magic can be a 7.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up. You agree with that? Have you ever
Yeah.
played Magic?
Yeah, I have. I've played a few games. I don't own any
Okay,
cards,
yeah.
but my friends have let me play with them.
Yeah, I just have one deck. It was a green red deck back in the day,
Okay.
so I mean, it was pretty good, but like
Yeah, I've played with like white decks
nothing.
and green decks, but nothing else.
Yeah, it's nothing compared to the today's cards, but
Yeah.
next up, this one is actually kind of outdated. I don't know why I put this one on here.
This
Beyblades.
one's kind of funny.
Who the
It's like
who the frick plays with Blade?
I haven't thought of Beyblades probably like 10 years.
Might as well have put Bakugan on there as well. You
Bakugan,
remember that?
bro. Bakugan is so hype. But yeah,
Dude, I
Beyblades.
don't have any of my Bakugans anymore.
Ah, it's so sad. They were so cool.
Yeah. But what were we saying about Beyblades?
Oh, it's just like I feel like Beyblades back in the day, for a certain age range, they were like super mainstream. Like probably same as Pokemon,
Oh
maybe
yeah.
a little less, like a 3 maybe. Um,
Oh, 100%.
but today, if you're still collecting Beyblades, like are there like underground Beyblade tournaments still? Like I feel like Beyblades, if you're into it, you're gonna be super sweaty, and it's gonna be super duper niche, like an
Oh
8
yeah.
niche,
8 in nicheness. I'd agree.
maybe 9. Like that's super niche. Like who
9,
does that?
like if you're still collecting them
Yeah,
today.
if you're still collecting them today, or you're like in tournaments and stuff for Beyblades. Like I don't think those. I don't know if they exist or not. What do you think?
I I could not even tell you. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, but back in the day, they were like a 2 or 3. But today, they're super niche.
Yeah. So we're putting 9. If you're collecting them today, that's a 9 on nerdiness.
You're a little nerdy.
But 2 for back in the day.
Yeah,
Honestly, dude, just drop the Beyblades.
yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons. What do you think of Dungeons and Dragons?
I feel like D&D is kind of like a good mid-range between niche and mainstream because it's the most
Yeah,
mainstream of niche activities, right? So it's like a solid
it
5.
really is. Yeah,
Cost to
I'd
get
say
into it.
5.
Sorry, go ahead,
Oh,
go ahead.
it's so cheap to get into it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, you don't have to
So
really
cheap.
buy anything. You can just borrow a book from somebody or like just legally download one off the internet that you have purchased.
Legally, please.
Legally, yeah. So like
Um,
technically it could be free to play. You just need to
it
get like
really
I guess
is.
a dice, but that's like $10, right?
Even then, the one shot that we played, I didn't have any dice,
That's
so I
true.
literally just used the ones online, like Google Dice, and
Yeah.
it worked just fine.
Yeah.
So, I
Hmm.
mean, get a set of dice, and then you're good, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's super nice.
That might just be because we're nerds and so we don't think D&D is super nerdy, but like I don't know, I think it's a good
I
thing.
Especially with fifth edition, it's so player friendly right
Yeah.
now.
Like it's not
It's
hard to get
like
into. It's like you just do whatever you want until the DM tells you to stop doing that.
exactly. So D&D, we're gonna rate that at a 5. It's not too sweaty. You actually can get some pretty attractive people playing D&D nowadays, so that's pretty good. Next up we've got Call of Cthulhu. This is actually a system that I've really enjoyed playing. Call of Cthulhu is a horror 1920s setting where you're private investigators or other professions. Um, yeah, just fighting space alien monstrosities and eldritch horrors and unsolving solving mysteries. Have you ever played Call of Cthulhu before?
I never have, but it seems interesting.
It's definitely a spookier setting for it's a good uh palate cleanser if you're playing D&D a lot and you just want to do something new, have like your character is super weak, only has like 12 HP, like a gun will kill them. The monsters you're fighting are terrifying, like they destroy your sanity. I mean, it's a fun game. So, but I'd say this one's pretty niche though. Definitely
Yeah,
more niche than D&D,
definitely.
maybe a little more sweaty, but also not too expensive. Um, all you really need is just, you know, a set of dice, and you just mainly need the percentile dice as well. And it's honestly not too hard to learn, so maybe you should get into it. Um, I'd say that one's probably gonna hover around Magic the Gathering at around a 7.
Yeah. You know,
Next up, we have another system, Traveler. Have
Traveler.
you ever heard of Traveler?
I haven't. These are the two that I haven't heard of before.
Okay, so this is another tabletop RPG. I haven't actually played this one, but it's a space setting where it's like it's similar to D&D and D and whatnot and like Call of Cthulhu, but like the character creation you actually like kind of role play out how your character is created and like you kind of live their life before the adventure even starts, which some people like, some people don't really like, but I mean, you get to fly spaceships and go to different planets and it's just I've heard it's pretty fun. Like
Yeah.
the settings are pretty fun.
I feel like that kind of setting, sorry to get off track, but like I feel like that has
Mhm.
so much potential to it, like traveling to different planets. Like you don't have to feel like you are locked into like this universe that you've created or like how things relate to one another. Like you can really, really get creative with it. And like you don't have to really necessarily worry about overarching lore, just developing like an
Yeah,
interesting planet, right? Like, and I think that's kind of
exactly.
the two ends of role playing games.
Oh, 100%. So I'd say Traveler might be on the same niche level as Call of Cthulhu, although I might bump up Traveler to a bit of an 8 because I rarely see people ever play this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't heard of
Um,
it, so it's got to be not gonna be super niche, but a little bit up there.
it's honestly, it's probably because a lot of people have heard of Warhammer 40K, but not a lot of people have heard of Traveler. So that's why I'd probably even say it would be a 9.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think you're right. Yeah,
But at the same time, it's not too nerdy,
yeah, it's not
besides
too
maybe
nerdy.
character creation.
Yeah, it's just like not super sweaty. It's probably a similar vibe to D&D, but just like more
Yeah.
nerdy, more niche.
It's like I rarely see any Traveler books at game stores.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
we're gonna get through most of these a little more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the tabletop RPGs and whatnot. Now we're gonna go into some pretty nerdy hobbies. LARPing.
Oh, Jeremy,
Oh boy.
that's a 10 for me, bro.
It's pretty fetching sweaty.
Super sweaty, super nerdy. If you're LARPing, like, good on you, but like, don't talk to me.
Okay, hang on. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. What I think my LARPing character could be hecka aesthetic, like fighting all the other chums on the battlefield.
Only the only time I would ever LARP is if you gave me like just like a foam padded sword and just let me go like to town on some of those guys. Just like beat the absolute snot out of them.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But like that, I
That's
feel like
funny.
that would be fun. Just like have a sword fight with like a bunch of foam swords, but like removing the like live action role playing part of it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I feel like just
Yeah.
like having like foam sword fights are just like super hype.
I feel like this could actually be pretty fun. I see the enjoyment of it, but when people are like getting into their OC's head and they're like actually role playing it, okay, that's when it's like, this is getting a little weird. But like if you just want to simulate like just a little skirmish in the park with foam swords, I think that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I'd watch that. I'd even participate. Yeah, you know what, Bryant? I don't care what you say. I'd participate in that.
All right, Jeremy, this is
But
where
the
we
moment,
diverge in our opinions.
but I will also say that's a 10. Actually, funny story. There is a LARPing group here in Idaho that,
Yeah, there's also one
um,
here in Provo.
oh boy, those nerds. Next up, cosplay, cosplaying. I'm also gonna put this as at a 10.
Yeah, I think it depends on the context because like cosplaying can mean a lot of different things. If you're cosplaying to like for Halloween
To a con,
and you make like a
or my
cool
bad.
costume, it's like yeah, that's like an 8. But if you're going to like Comic Con and you like just make this like super sweaty like cool um costume, like that's cool, but also super duper nerdy, you know?
Yeah, it's like a lot of people don't just go into cosplay. There has to be another gateway drug that gets you in the cosplay, and I feel like
Yeah,
LARPing might be one of those. I mean, well,
definitely.
okay, actually, I feel like it's first D&D, then
Some kind of
it's
easy to get into role playing thing.
oh, I think I found out the gateway drug cycle. It's Steven Universe,
Oh, 100%.
th- then Dungeons and Dragons, cosplay, and then next thing you know, you're LARPing.
I think that's true. That's a good progression.
So, cosplay, I'd put that at a 10. It's even when you go to Comic-Con and there's like a ton of people there, like cosplaying and whatnot, it's still not that many people. So yeah. Next up, oh boy, I've got strong opinions on this one, but Marvel. What
One, it's a
people that like
one.
Marvel?
It's a one.
That it used to be super niche and nerdy to like the comic books, and
Yeah,
even today, like people will still read the comic books and whatnot, but like at this point it's so mainstream, it's so just overdone for clearly just for money, in my opinion. Like everyone
yeah.
like Disney especially just wants money from it, so it's like, okay, well, it's a one. It's a one for
100%.
me, Chief.
I think enough said.
Yeah. Next up, Star Wars. I'd say, okay, honestly, I think this is higher than Marvel. I'm not
I
gonna
think so
lie.
too. I think you're right. I'd say it's not super niche. If we put Pokemon at a 2, I'd say Star Wars is at a 2 as well. Maybe like a
Two,
1.5. Well, because I feel
because
like,
there's actually
well,
a
I
lot of
know,
people
but
don't know anything about Star Wars.
they've heard of it. It's like the same thing as like Pokemon. Like most people don't know anything about Pokemon, but they've heard of Pikachu before. Like you might not know a lot
Okay, so
about
they know
Star
Darth
Wars.
Vader at
Yeah,
least.
like you know who Darth Vader is. Like that's all that you really need to know,
Okay.
right? That's kind of my equivalency there. Maybe Pokemon and Star Wars can be a 3, because I think they're about the same level. But yeah, I
Mm,
think that they're pretty equivalent there.
okay. Two or three for both of them.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think also just like when you mentioned like, oh, all you gotta know is Darth Vader. It's like, okay, yeah, I guess you're right because the past movies have just always been about freaking Anakin Skywalker.
yeah.
By the way, I love the character. Can we move on from that story, please? Like, I'm tired of this.
Yeah, like the 6 movies were good. Right. That was a lot. But the 6 movies were good. And then you get to like 7, 8, 9. It's like, dog, we're still rehashing like the same thing.
Yeah,
And then
it
you
was so
got
sad.
like, and I get it. Darth Vader sells. He's cool. He's a really cool character. And so like bring him back in Ahsoka, bring him back in Solo, or not Solo, in Obi-Wan, bring him back in Rebels, and like all these ones. And it's like it makes sense, but
Hmm.
yeah, I just wish.
But Dave Filoni just cannot help himself at this point.
Yeah,
My man is like wetting himself over Darth Vader over here. Anyway, that's enough Star Wars. Next up, we got niche board games, and I'm not talking about like Monopoly or Catan. Okay, congrats, you get to play Catan. You're not special. I'm talking about games like you go into a game shop and you're like, "Whoa, what the heck is this?" I'm talking about Root. I'm talking about oh wait, what's it called? Uh, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Again, I lost brain cells today at the gym.
Mhm.
Make sure to breathe when you're doing your sets, you know. I can only think of Root right now.
You just had them
Oh,
on the board.
I did Space Truckers.
Yeah, Space Truckers.
Um, or no, it was called Galactic Truckers or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm talking about those kinds of games where it's like super niche. Um, but like when you play it, it's like, oh yeah, I know what this is. Oh no, there's another game called Colonists. It's like Catan, but like 10 times bigger. I'm talking like Gloomhaven. There we go. Okay, now I'm thinking of all of these games. But yeah, those are the board games. You know, I'd put this at a 4 because they're pretty expensive. They're not too sweaty. They're actually pretty enjoyable games. So I'd put that at like maybe a 4.
Yeah, I feel like all board games just kind of rank underneath, for nicheness. All the games that are more open ended, like D&D and the other role playing games, even if it is a role playing game, if it can be contained like within, like a box where you use
Hmm.
pieces and money and stuff like that, then I feel like that is less niche, easier to get into than D&D, which is more open ended.
Yeah. And if let me just say, if like the most niche game you've played is Catan, then I would say I don't want to sound like I'm gatekeeping, but I will. I am gonna gatekeep a little bit. Then you can't say that, oh, one of my hobbies is that I play board games. Congrats, you play Catan and that's about it. Uh, you know? But yeah. Next up, deck building games. Have you played deck building games before?
I've played. Let's see. What's the space one? Oh my gosh.
Oh, Star
Yeah,
Realms.
Star Realms. I played Star Realms. That one is
Star
hype.
Realms is so fun.
What else did I play? I played
There was
what
like
the
one
Pirate
game
King
that
or something like that. That's not a deck building game.
no, that's Skull King. That's not a deck building
Right,
game.
okay. I think the only one I played in is Star Realms. But Star Realms was so fun. It was just like
Oh yeah.
so hard to like figure out, but once you figured it out, like it got a lot easier. Like you could be really good at it, like at just beginning. I really enjoyed that
Oh
part.
yeah. Yeah, deck building games, I think they're solid. I've played a lot of them. I played Dominion, Star Realms, Arctic Scavengers. I mean, like those ones are always so fun to play. It's like pretty much build it. So first off, you have everything to build a deck already there, and the whole point of the game is building your deck to fight other people. So you don't have to spend like so much money on like Magic or Pokemon to build decks to fight people. No, it's the name of the game. Getting resources to then in resources in game to build a stronger deck. And there's a lot of replayability. I mean, that's what I love about these games. How niche do you think these ones are? I didn't want to put these under niche board games, but I also didn't want to put these under like card games because I feel like this is a whole like separate
Yeah, I
entity.
I feel like these would be more niche than board games, but not significantly more niche. Like probably a
Yeah.
5 or 6. Um, yeah, I'm not sure because I feel like they are, it's kind of the ease of entry is still there, but
Hmm.
it requires like I think a lot more knowledge of how the game works, and you can't just start playing and figure it out. Like you got to
You have
know
to
how
play
it
multiple
works.
games.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
you
got
got to
to.
play multiple games to figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
So, would you say it was 5?
Yeah, I'd say it's a 5.
All right. And then last but not least, I forgot this is another tabletop RPG, but Blades in the Dark. Oh
I
boy.
I don't know about this one. You're gonna have to explain this one to me.
So this is actually a pretty cool tabletop RPG system all about heists. Like I mean, you play as criminals or something that are like planning heists, breaking into something, sneaking around, grabbing some grabbing something, then getting out alive, right? And it's very role play heavy, I will say, and it's the lore is incredibly dense. I mean, it's similar to like if you've ever played Assassin's Creed Syndicate, where it's kind of that level of like you have so many factions, but it's kind of that setting. It's a fantasy setting as well. And like there's a system with like clocks and timers and whatnot that just keep the action moving. I mean, it's a good system. Very niche though, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Very very nerdy. Uh especially if you get into the lore of it. And a lot of people don't know a lot about it. I would rank this probably in the same category as Traveler at around 9 just because like not a lot of people hear about it, not a lot of people know about it. I don't know how sweaty this is, but probably pretty sweaty.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That sounds like an interesting game though. Like I feel like there's a lot of stuff you can do with tabletop RPGs, and I feel like that's kind of hits the nail on the head with like what works, at least from my like first glance at it.
Oh yeah. And then we also forgot to put down anime. Real quick, where do you rank that?
It depends, dude. Anime is so broad. If you're watching like, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or like um
That's pretty
more
niche.
more mainstream, well, yeah, that one is nicher, but I feel like it's popular enough. But then again, you get to like Attack on Titan or like Vinland Saga or things like that. Those are more acceptable to watch because they're just like TV shows. Like they're not.
Yeah.
There's nothing like, especially Attack on Titan and Vinland Saga too. There's like nothing about it that makes it an anime except for the animation style. and like
Exactly.
that's it, right? And so I feel like those would be less niche, like a 6 or 7. But then you get to like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or like Mob Psycho or things like that. You start getting into the 8 range. But then you get to like the super super nerdy niche stuff. Like if you're binge watching One Piece or like
Oh my gosh, if you're still watching One
Naruto or
Piece, like
Dragon
what
Ball,
the
like
heck?
that's a 10. Like that's super niche, super kind of weird. I mean, I guess whatever, power to you, but like I feel like it would be hard for me to get into like shows like that. All right, Jeremy. I feel like this is a pretty like definitive list. That's just like all of the hobbies that you could possibly have, right? Like there's nothing else.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't think so.
If somehow you do find some like hobbies that you want us to like rate, I don't think you'll find any, but just like send us like a DM on Instagram or just like a comment on one of our posts or something. um shout out the Instagram at Natty Wonders, by the way.
At Natty
uh
Wonders.
anyway, yeah, but yeah, just let us know if there's some more hobbies that you want us to rate. But Jeremy, thank you for the episode, bro. It's been an honor.
Yeah, thank you.
This is always like the
Um,
highlight of my week.
oh, same here, bro. I thought this was a good episode. But we'll wrap it up for you. Um, I've been Jeremy Crumbo, and thank you so much, Bryant, for joining me today. And hope you come stick around next week because we have another episode planned for you then. Remember, always have a great day. Make sure to breathe while you're doing your sets, especially if it's a really heavy set. And have a great week. Have a good one. See ya. Bye.
All right, bye.
Hey, adventurer. Looks like you made it to the end of this episode. Again, we're so grateful that you listened to this project of ours. And hey, if you enjoyed, why not share your favorite episode? It helps us out, and when you hit share, you will always roll a natural 20 on your first roll. And to spice up the deal, we'll even give you a nice, juicy PR that you've always been dreaming of. Want to play a bigger part in the adventure? Follow us on Instagram at Natty Wonders. Send us your best gym talk slanders, and we'll review them on the show. Have a great day.